day, keeping you safe, forecasting for you. From KCTV 5, this is the First Warn 5 Weather Show.
It is a big day in Kansas City. You are watching Kansas City's first and only all-weather show. Our chief meteorologist, Luke Doris, is here. Luke, what an appropriate day, really, to launch this show.
No kidding. That's right. We're tracking a major storm system that's pushing its way toward Kansas City. And we have the entire First Warn 5 weather team, and we're here making sure that you have everything you need to know to be prepared. So we've got this line of storms that's working its way through portions of Kansas and Nebraska. A lot of this is severe, and it's moving east. All right. So a lot of warnings along that. You can see the spin-up tornadoes, something that we're tracking here very closely. Hey, while we have a rather rare level 4 out of 5 in our area, other places are even higher, top of the scale, level 5 out of 5 risk. Warren, we don't see that often. Can you tell us just how rare those are?
Yeah, we sure don't. When you crunch the numbers in about a 10-year span, this high risk in this bright pink shade here, which is south of Wichita for today and then through the heart of Oklahoma City, really pretty much down 35. This happens about once per year.
Our brand and how we message the threat. We want to warn you about the changes in the weather, but you might ask, what's the difference between a first warn and a first warn weather day like today? Melissa, can you walk everyone through that?
Absolutely. So a first warn is just when there's a little bit of an inconvenience or a bigger change in the weather, and that can be seen like light rain showers through the area as you're heading out for your morning commute. So early warning for any change in weather. That could be high pollen on the way, regular rain and thunderstorms on the way, like per se during our morning or our evening commute.
Forecasts built just for you as we go zone by zone.
All right, we want to get you the forecast for your neighborhood. This is for tonight as we track this line of storms coming through. When can you expect it? Let's start up in our northern zone as we go up by areas in St. Joe and Maryville in Oregon and Atchison, about 8 to 10 p.m. if you're further to the west. If you're more toward Cameron and Bethany, you can see that line of storms working east, about 9 p.m. until midnight. And for some of us, again, this is a late night event, 10 p.m. until after midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, Trenton, Chillicothe, Brookfield, Bramer, places like that. Intense lightning, we could have some hail. Let's go south where we could also see those winds up to 70 to 80 miles per hour. It's possible. So Oskaloosa, Lawrence, 8 to 10. Around Kansas City, 9 to midnight. Excelsior Springs, you're included in that as well. Then Carrollton and Marshall, 10 p.m. until 1 for you. You're in that zone. In the southern zone, that would also include Sedalia, Warsaw, Warrensburg, 9 p.m. until about midnight. That's Belton, Garden City, and Butler. There's a brief tornado spin-up that's possible. The greatest threat is by Ottawa, Garnett, and Mount.
Wild weather caught on camera. New video shows the moment a tornado tears down a warehouse in Nebraska. Check this out. It was captured on dash cam on April 26th. You can see the calm, kind of ominous start here, but in just seconds,
Helping you plan ahead. This is your First Warn 5 planning calendar.
Well, there's always something happening in the Kansas City area, and as we take a look at our planning calendar, many things happening over the course of the next week. I do want to start out with Tuesday, as Tuesday is looking like to be a fabulous day. Now, temperatures are going to hang out in the 70s if you are heading to the Royals game. Light winds between 5 to 15 miles per hour, and temperatures by the time the first pitch is off in the mid-70s, falling to the upper 60s by the time 9:30 rolls around. And as we head towards the weekend, a big weekend shaping up. Saturday, if you're heading to Sporting KC, there is a small chance for an isolated shower, but temperatures are still pretty comfortable in that 70-degree range before they fall into the 60s as you head towards the 7, 8, 9 o'clock hours. So overall, pretty pleasant conditions are shaping up.
Meteorologist Greg Bennett explains the key element that keeps storms at bay and what happens when it disappears.
You're watching Kansas City's only all-weather show with Chief Meteorologist Luke Doris and the First Warn 5 weather team. This is the First Warn 5 weather show.
Welcome back. You're looking live across Kansas City. This is over KCI out at the airport. It's calm right now, but that could change in a couple hours. One of the reasons why we're calm right now is something that we call the cap. And this is a key to thunderstorm development. Meteorologist Greg Bennett, explain what the cap is.
All right, thanks, Luke. You know, we're talking about the severe storm activity developing into the area for us, and there's a couple of things that we need, right? We talked about shear, we're talking about lift of storms out there to get above that kind of height. Now, how do we break it? First things first, you do need warm air to rise, right? And we do decrease temperatures as we move up into the atmosphere. So as long as we have temperatures falling in height, we will continue to have that warm air lift into the atmosphere until it hits some warmer conditions, i.e. the cap or the ceiling of the atmosphere. So we break it by adding more and more warm air from the surface, lifting it harder and harder and stronger up into the atmosphere. Sometimes it gets some help from frontal boundaries or low pressure systems, and we call that forced lifting. So again, it's going to be even more forceful to break down that warmer air above our heads. There's sometimes a weak point in that warm air, and that allows us to break it and start to build that thunderstorm above the ceiling. When we get to that, we get into significant severe storm activity, damaging wind, hail, and even tornado development.
And coming up, we have your 5 things you need to know, including the big win in an animal abuse case. Plus, Chief Meteorologist Luke Doris is tracking new data on these severe storms heading this way.
Take the First Warn 5 weather team on the go. Download the First Warn 5 weather app right now in the Apple or Google Play Store.
Welcome back. Here's a live look at the radar near Wichita. You can see the storms are trying to inch their way closer to us. What we see here is a line of powerful storms producing widespread severe weather. There is an embedded tornado warning within that line, and then a noticeable gap between Oklahoma and Wichita. Will these two lines connect into one? That's something that we're monitoring. We're waiting on.
Here are the 5 things you need to know from KCTV 5.
One of the men accused of murder in the Chiefs championship rally shooting appeared before a judge for the first time today. 18-year-old Dominic Miller faces numerous murder and weapons charges. He was booked into jail Friday after spending nearly 3 months in the hospital. Prosecutors believe a bullet from Miller's.
Now, your First Warn 5 weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Luke Doris.
All right, we've been talking a lot about these storms moving our way tonight. What's the deal? What can we expect with them? Let's look at the possibilities here, kind of the range. We'll start with what to be prepared for. Essentially, this is worst case. This is what is possible. It's not a forecast, but it's possible if the storms were to reach their full potential.
Team loves meeting new faces. Warren, you visited some pretty awesome students earlier today.
I sure did. We were out in Baser, and I got to visit with the 3rd graders at Glenwood Ridge Elementary School. And let me just tell you, these kids are polite and they are sharp. And we had the best time out there this afternoon. They even got to see the mobile weather tracker. We got to go outside. We just talked a little bit about the broadcast, world and the meteorology world. And really,
we know how busy this time of year can be, so we're helping you get ready. Melissa is tracking what to expect in your 7-day forecast.
And before we head to break, we have a weather trivia question for you. The question is, what conditions are needed to issue a severe thunderstorm warning? Hint, there are 2 possible answers. Think about it. We'll have the answer. It's coming up right after the break. Welcome back. Before we went to break, we asked you this question. What conditions are needed to issue a severe thunderstorm warning? The answer, at least 58-mile-per-hour winds and or 1 inch in diameter or larger hail. If a storm meets either one of those criteria, it is considered a severe thunderstorm.
Tracking the changes day by day. This is your First Warn 5 7-day forecast.
After that potent line of rain and storms moves through this evening and tonight, things are much quieter as we head into our Tuesday. We do have a chance for an isolated shower throughout the course of the day, but we're going to be in the upper 70s, partly cloudy skies, and temperatures across the remainder of our area mainly hitting that 70-degree mark. 76 in Marshall, 77 in Kansas City, 72 in Maryville, and 75 in Paola. Now, as we head into Wednesday, another first warn in the forecast as we're tracking a 30% chance for rain and thunderstorms. Some of that could be strong to severe, mainly east of the I-35 corridor. All modes of severe weather are possible.
Coming up tonight on KCTV 5 News at 10 o'clock, the new push to make marijuana legal in Kansas. Lawmakers have ruled it out for this session, but we talked to the local councilwoman who thinks she's now put the dream.
This was our first Warren 5 weather show, but the weather's still coming for us here tonight. So Melissa, Warren, yeah, we're all going to be here tracking the storms, keep everybody out ahead of these things as they move our way. We'll see what they do. They've got high potential, and we'll just be monitoring.
All right, we're counting on you, and we do thank you for joining us here on our inaugural day. Stay safe, stay tuned in to KCTV 5 for complete storm coverage throughout the night.